my favorite sharpener, because he sends me so many different things that I can show you things what not to do. And don't mean to laugh at them, but this is a good example. When you get these colored shears, don't try to convex them. You're just going to take the pretty color off. So they just don't cut at all. They feel sharp, but I'm going to ReSharpen them, and hopefully I'll be able to send them back. And let's look at maybe what he's done wrong besides convexing a beveled edge. Even convexing a beveled edge or one of these colored ones should cut, but these don't. Let's look at why. If you're a sharpener, I've got a lot of videos like this that you can watch, a lot of them with shears from Henry that we're working on. So check out my channel, subscribe and hit like, put comments about things you'd like to see. Most of my sharpening's not this difficult. When you're going behind fixing work, that's the most difficult sharpening. So sharpening usually is fun and easy. Today it's not too easy. Let's take a look at these. Before you start, check out the shears. Do they cut? What do they look like? Look at the ride line. There's a ride line, but it looks kind of inconsistent. So hard to show you on these videos. He did use his red marker, because I still see some red marker left behind. But it almost looks like he was rolling the edge, because I'm not seeing anything coming off the back. So I think he's putting too much pressure toward the edge. There's a sparkle right there at the tip, and there's no, that means it's a difference in the angle there. And then I'm feeling with my thumb right there, there's burr on the outside. Both blades. That's a fresh 800. That should be about right. Fresh 800, I wish you were here so you could feel. It's a lot more aggressive than a worn 800. But on beveled edges, typically I'll use a fresh 800, and that way I have them broken in for the scissors I want a worn 800 on. So let's take this apart real quick. Okay, so here's the first problem I'm seeing. Look at that clicker plate. He doesn't have his nipple up. That alone could be enough to keep him from cutting. But that nipple has got to be up. See, there's a little nipple there, and that nipple was down. So that's number one problem. Based on the last shears I sharpened for Henry, I think he's possibly doing his ride line rotating in. Maybe too much pressure on that front side. It needs to be more flat. And let's see what my ride line looks like compared to the other one. I guess I should have waited to color the other one red so you can see a better comparison. Yeah, there's no ride line here at all. See, the red goes all the way up to the edge. Might be a little hint of one, but I want more. Pressure's here, a little bit more pressure there. And I'm pressing pretty hard. My hands are weak, so I might not be able to press as hard as some of you, but it still looks wimpy here in the middle. These shears may be out of alignment a little bit. I could check them with my check plate. A little bit of high bow right there. It's not that much out of, it's not enough that I would even think about bending them or hammering them or whatever. But just when you do this rod line and you have trouble getting the rod line in a certain spot, it's very likely that they're out of alignment. See, this one looks better. Definitely see the difference in the rod line. So this one's in alignment And then this one's got more of a problem, but you can just work the ride line until it's flat. That should work. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to go to my fresh 800. Let's do a scratch test. Scratch test will tell me what the angle is. So right now I'm set at 40. So I'm going to do a scratch test. I'm going to go up here. I could turn it on or just scratch. So 40 is right on the edge. So these were probably sharpened at 45. I'm going to go with a 40. The higher the number, the more the color you're going to take off. See, now these beveled edges, I'm not doing any rocking, I'm pulling them across. Got a nice big old burr. I could have done them at 45. And they didn't cut it all before. Knocking that burr off. And then I'm going to go back with some kind of finer grit. There's a nice worn 800. And this is grit. And these were both 800, but this is a worn 800, so it's going to give it a little bit more of a shine. And it just, in case I push some outside burr, it'll get rid of it. I'm thinking now I probably should have done them at 45 because the 40 looks a little blunt, but let's see how they cut. Always feeling to see if all the burrs are gone with my microfiber cloth as I'm wiping it off. This time I need to make sure my nipple is up. You stack them this way. I know it looks boring for me to show you how I put shears together, but it's I take this part because it's hard to see if it's up or down, and I sit it right there on my thumb knuckle and I look at it close and say, oh, it's upside down, I need to turn it over. That's the way I need it to go. So when that nipple is up, or the little notch is up, or nose is up, or whatever you want to call it, I put it in here to make sure that nipple is up. I don't worry about it sitting in there because once I put this in, it kind of gets turned around and gets in there right. And that little nipple has to connect to the little teeth that's here on the nut. And if I've done it right, when I get in here, I'll hear it click. Okay, remember it didn't cut before? Now it cuts. Didn't do anything but a normal sharpening. Fix the screw. Let's see if it cuts wet. Once again, cutting the wet tissue tells me if all the burrs are gone. It folded hair, so we're going to check it on hair as well. So I'm pulling my thumb out. Slow catches things, fast doesn't catch. That cuts perfect. Double checking the tip, making sure that tip comes together. It does. And let's cut some hair. So hair pushes a little bit. Did it pull some of that hair? I felt a little tiny pull right there. So I'm going to just shorten it. that little bit. Does it feel sharp? That feels fairly sharp. Let's try the cutting again. That's still pulling. You can feel a slight pull. Slight pull. So this is how I fix that little bit of a pull on the tip. Ah, look at that. You see how it flipped? See how it's flipping? That can either be from the screw being loose, but it's not that loose, or it's just not a sharp enough angle. I think I'm going to go over them at a 45. Normally I tell people don't go back and redo them. Oh, I had it at 35 instead of 40. Let me go up to 40. I had this from the last scissor I sharpened. I'm going to go a little sharper edge. Go to my refresher 400. It's a little bit more now. Now I can't do this without taking it apart, I think. Got a burr back here, not in there. Got it all the way down and not right there until you get to the last this much. Gotta make sure you got a burr. Got it all the way down. Flip it over. Make sure I'm not seeing all my screw, which I am. And you see how that screw fits in that hole so that the angle doesn't change? Burr all the way down. I could go with a paper towel, or I'm going to double up my tissue and cut my burr off. Snip. Next time it's smoother. This time it's smoother. All right, so before it didn't cut hair well. It kind of wanted to flip. Let's see how it's cutting hair. Oh, much better. Still feel that little tiny pull there, right there at the tip. Did you see that? Let's see if I can get that to do it on tissue. It's so tiny. Ah, that's got it. I'm not feeling it. So I'm going to call those done and repaired. So once again, what did I see wrong with these? Tried to convex a colored shear. The ride line looked like maybe rotated too much the edge, and there was burr left on the outside of the edge. And the mistake I made is I did them too blunt of an angle, but I went back and I corrected my own mistake. So always check behind yourself. Check and see what angle you actually had the clamp at. Can make a big difference. So these are done, and I'll let you know if I have some other interesting things in all the shears that were sent to me by Henry.